Welcome to Politics Unleashed. I'm your host, Tim Pino, and I'm standing out today in a downpour, as you can see, but it's a special episode that hopefully you'll really enjoy. 3 years ago, Senator Kip Bateman came to my house to visit my canine partner, Dano, who was getting up in age and started to get sickly. When Kip came that day, we were out at the kennel right here, and Dano was out here playing with us. So it's almost been 3 years. Kip's going to be joining us today. It's his first time coming back to the set in a while, and we're really excited to have him here. He's a champion to animal advocates all over the state, if not country, and I think you're really going to enjoy today's episode, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Politics Unleashed. I'm your host, Tim Pino, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, Senator Kip Bateman of New Jersey's 16th District. Kip, thanks for joining us.
Tim, thanks for having me. It's great.
As you can see, it's raining out today, but some would say the political waters are stormy throughout New Jersey, so I guess the weather fits.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be a very interesting fall, as you know, Tim. You know, the entire legislature's up, including the governor, 120 seats plus the governor, so it's going to be a very interesting fall, to say the least.
Well, one of the things that excites us, Kip, about having you here today is we like getting politicians to sit next to me on my bar stool and move the stool around all over my house. But we wanted to, we like letting them know the other side of Kip, not just a politician. We all know a distinguished politician, and we'll get into some of that stuff later. But we want to know a little bit about you. Like, where were you born?
Okay, I was born right close by in Somerville. Back then it was the Somerville Hospital. My parents, right before I was born, built a house in Branchburg Township, right by the county college. And I lived in that house until I moved out. Matter of fact, the house is still there. You know, we're going to probably do something with it because my dad, as you know, passed away last June. So we're going to do something with the house. But went to Branchburg Public Schools, went to Somerville High School, graduated from Somerville High School, went on to Ithaca College, was a dual major in history and political science. From there, I took a year off, worked in Mills and Fenwick's senatorial campaign, and then I went to Seton Hall Law School at night. And then the first year, but you work all day, you go to law school at night, there was no life. So I transferred over into the day division, and the last thing I expected to happen is I met my wife, my future wife, Sue. So it was the best thing I ever did. And then after we graduated, we took the bar exam, and then we got married in 1984. And now we live in Branchburg Township.
Well, I'll tell you, you're breaking a record on our show. We're only about 2 minutes in with Senator Bateman, and our studio lines are ringing already.
All right.
I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but we may get to that later on.
Okay, great.
How about growing up? What were some of your hobbies as a kid?
Well, I've always liked the outdoors. Back when we grew up, it was a lot different, and we didn't have too many organized sports in Branchburg, so we had to do a lot on our own. And my brother Raymond, who passed in 1990, he was great at outdoor games, and so we used to play sandlot football. We had some trail bikes. We used to ride all through Branchburg. Back then, Branchburg was mostly, farmland and woods. And we would go outside. We'd play all day long. We played chase and whatnot. And then later on, as we got sports, I played soccer. I played football. I swam in high school. I played tennis in high school. And I love to fish. I love the outdoors. I love to hike. So I'm an outdoors kind of person.
Who was your favorite tennis player?
Oh, I used to, I know he had a bad temper, but I really like Jimmy Connors. I mean, he really gave it his all, yeah.
All right.
I used to go to the U.S. Open from time to time, and he was one. I thought he was a great tennis player.
It might have been against Patrick McEnroe. He had that epic comeback that time where he was down by 2 sets and he rallied back.
And he was older, and that's why I give him a lot of credit.
I think he was a wild card that year to the tournament. Yeah. A little bit of a tennis buff too. That's for another episode.
Yeah,
but who are your favorite teams in sports?
Obviously, I'm a big Giant fan. We have Giant season tickets, and my wife is even a bigger Giant fan, and unfortunately, during election years or re-election years, I'm campaigning. She goes to Giant games without me.
Okay.
But I like the Yankees. I like the Mets, and the Devils. But I'm really a Giant fan. I've been to their Super Bowls, and we're getting ready for hopefully a good season this year.
I think they're going to be not bad.
The defense is awesome. But if they can stay healthy, the key is to stay healthy. And the problem is they have 4 preseason games. You don't need 4 preseason games. You should have 2. At most. Because,
I think most people would agree with you on that. With all the injuries and everything.
Absolutely. You look around the injury. Look around the NFL. Some of the top players got injured already in preseason. It's unfortunate. It really
if they keep Eli standing up, they have the weapons this year with the tight end.
A lot of targets to throw to.
Yes, they do. No excuses. All right. Well, we appreciate that, and we're going to take a quick break, and you'll listen to this public service ad, and we'll be right back after this.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Welcome back to Politics Unleashed. I'm joined again with Senator Kip Bateman as the rain is starting to pick up behind us. Career-wise, politically, when was the first time you knew politics was something that you had an interest in?
Well, you know, my dad was in the state legislature for 20 years. He was in the Assembly for 10, the Senate for 10, and then he ran for governor in 1977. So growing up, we always talked politics, and I loved history. I always thought history was fascinating. I liked politics. And so I kind of came by it naturally, and I went to college, and I liked them both, so I dual majored in history and political science. And then when my dad ran for governor in 1977, I took a semester off from Ithaca College. I worked in his campaign, and one of my jobs was to travel with him and to represent him in places where he couldn't be. And it was fascinating. We met great New Jerseyans all over the state. You realize how big New Jersey is. You go down to Cape May, go up to Sussex County. It's a large state, but it was fascinating. A lot of trips in a helicopter and private planes, and it was just a great experience. Unfortunately, you know, we won the primary, lost the general election to then Governor Byrne. But I kind of got, you know, I got the urge, the itch at that point.
Sure.
And then after college, I was working for Millicent Fenwick, Congresswoman Millicent Fenwick. I did an internship in Washington, D.C. with her. I loved it. And then local Branchburg GOP asked me if I would help run a couple of their local campaigns, which I did. And then the following year, they said, would you run for office in 1982? I was pretty young in 1982. I said, well, and I was working for Millicent Fenwick, and I decided I was working for Millicent Fenwick in her senatorial campaign and going to law school at night. I don't know how I got through the first year of law school, because let me tell you, it was tough. And so I decided, you know, Millicent's either going to win or lose. She won the primary. And after the primary, I said, she's going to either win or lose, whether I'm here or not. So I transferred to the day division, and that's when I ultimately met my wife. But I was able to run for township committee in 1982. And the best thing that happened to me was she was on the ticket, at the top of the ticket, Millicent Fenwick. Obviously very popular in Somerset County.
She worked under Ronald Reagan's administration, right?
Yes, and she was a great congresswoman.
Okay.
And you know, she was Lacey Davenport in all the cartoons. But she lost statewide, but obviously she carried Somerset County very big, and Branchburg.
All right.
So I was on the ticket with her.
That's good.
So I benefited from that. So I
Sure.
won, and then it was a one-year term. I had to run in 1983, and then in '86 I was mayor, and then in 1988 a vacancy opened up. Actually, it was Christy Whitman again. She was a freeholder, and Governor Kane had appointed her to be president of the Board of Public Utilities, which opened up a seat on the freeholder board.
Okay.
So I got appointed to the freeholder board.
Okay.
And I had to run a couple times, and then the same thing happened in '92. We had a vacancy. Jack Penn retired from the Assembly, so I had to go through a screening process, and I ran for the Assembly. And this time, she was running for governor.
Okay.
Christy Whitman.
All
so
right.
you know, the women were very influential in my political career.
Sure.
Millicent Fenwick and then Christy Todd Whitman. And I won as the Assemblyman in 1993. Spent 7 terms in the Assembly, and then an opening happened in 2007, so I ran for state Senate. I've been in the Senate ever since.
All right, we want to hear a little bit more about this Senate thing.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break and listen to this public service announcement, and we'll be right back after this.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Politics Unleashed. I'm still joined by Senator Kip Bateman. And now we're going to get to the fun stuff, Kip, because the Senate, you've been a member for that for a long time.
I have,
and,
2007, and it's been a great experience. I was fortunate to get some very good committee assignments. You know, I'm on the Senate Judiciary Committee. As a lawyer, that's a great assignment. I'm on the Senate Environment Committee, which is very dear to my heart, and I'm on the Senate Public and Law Safety Committee, which is important. And so, I have 3 committees, very, very busy, but some good committees to be on.
Does it get frustrating sometimes, like when there's votes and?
Absolutely.
I know you guys stay crazy hours.
Long hours, and it's difficult being in the minority. And my dad, one of the lessons my dad taught me early on is he said when you go down there, he said make friends on both sides of the aisles, because you're going down in the majority, which I did when I was first elected to the assembly. We were in the majority, and shortly thereafter I became a chairman because of it. And I made a lot of friends, and I let a lot of Democrats co-sponsor my bills. And it was good advice, because when the tide turned and we went into the minority, my friends remembered me. And because of it, I've been able to do some really significant legislation because of Democrat co-sponsorship. And Senator Smith, Senator Lesniak, Senator Sweeney, they've all been very helpful to me. And really, to get anything meaningful done, it's got to be bipartisan.
Sure.
So
makes sense.
It's one of the problems with Washington.
Right.
It's just so partisan in Washington, and Trenton is better. We're not perfect, but I mean, the problems are so significant that one party can't solve them by themselves. So you got to have friends on both sides of the aisle, and it's been very helpful to my career.
Well, let's talk about Trenton. What are some legislation that is going on currently that affects the viewers that are watching right now?
Well, obviously, one of the biggest issues is the property taxes, and it goes back to the school funding formula, and we've been trying to tweak it. We have a spending problem in Trenton. I mean, we have plenty of money, but it's a spending problem, and you have priorities, and you just can't keep going back to the taxpayer. So the number one issue is property taxes, and I think we need to consolidate more. I think we need to redo the school funding formula. I think there's ways to save money, and people love New Jersey. It's a very expensive state, and people are voting with their feet. They're leaving, and that's so unfortunate, because you want to be around your children, your grandchildren.
Sure.
I love New Jersey. We have everything, but we also have high taxes. So one of the priorities is taxes, and with the new governor, it's going to be interesting. And so depending on who wins the election, whether it's Phil Murphy or Kim Guadagno, it's going to be an interesting agenda come 2018.
Looking ahead, what are some things, like, if it's not legislation yet, that you would like to see changed?
Well, something I've been working on for years has been the whole issue of affordable housing.
Okay.
And the numbers that they've come up with are just crazy. I mean, in theory, every town should provide an adequate amount of housing for low and moderate income individuals. And most towns want to. But the numbers that they've come out is, I mean, they can actually, if they're built, they're going to destroy communities as we know them. And if you have to start building new schools, infrastructure. So I have a comprehensive affordable housing bill in to redo the whole formula. Let each town decide what their quota is. And most towns want to meet their quota, but when you're talking about adding 2,000 units to a town like Branchburg, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's very important. I think I'm going to continue to work on school funding formula. Also, I'm an environmentalist, and the environment is so important. And I've been working very closely with Senator Smith on some very key bills which impact everybody. And we were successful a couple of years ago. Our bill got on the ballot to have permanent funding for open space preservation, farmland preservation.
You've been a big advocate
Blue
of that.
acres and historic preservation. I think it's so important. So, we have plenty of issues, and it's difficult because we are in the minority, and I don't set the agenda, unfortunately. The Senate President does, and the governor. So, but that's why you need to work together.
Well, I think that gives our viewers a little insight of what goes on in the New Jersey Senate. We're going to take a quick break, and then right after that, we're going to talk to Kip about some special things that we wanted to bring up today. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Senator, you mentioned earlier that some of your first political activity came helping your father's campaign out. I'm sure, like a lot of viewers would want to know, especially being a child of a father who was a politician and everything. I wanted to give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit about your dad and his impact on your life.
Well, he was a real mentor. He was just an incredible individual, and we unfortunately lost him last year. He was 88 and a half, and he was doing great up until the end. And he was really sharp. and he really cared about people. And you know, he was as we said at his memorial, he had generational friends. He had friends from my generation, his generation, generation in between, and you know, people loved him because you know he cared about people and people's problems. And you know what, he was a strong believer in government. He recognized its flaws, and he wrote about people, and he wrote about government, and he wasn't afraid to say it the way he felt it. You know, he attacked people, governors, presidents, you name it. But when he thought they were wrong, he called them out on it. And you know, he was a real student of government, and he recognized that democracy is not perfect, but it's the best in the world. And you know, he thought there were ways that it could even be better, especially in New Jersey. So you know, he wrote about his experiences. But as a father, you couldn't ask for anybody who was more special. I mean, you know, he was such a role model to me, and you know, it's really why I'm where I'm at now, because trying to follow his tradition, I could never fill those shoes. But he was just a statesman, an elder statesman. Just you know, he just an honest individual who cared about people.
I love hearing those types of stories, and I thank you for sharing that with our viewers. And we'll be right back with more from Senator Bateman right after this.
Hello, my name is Veronica Finlay, and I'm from Safe and Sound Somerset. Safe and Sound Somerset is an organization in Somerset County, New Jersey that helps domestic violence victims and their children leave the abuse behind and move on to wonderful, bright futures. At Safe and Sound, we have a safe house, we have transitional housing, and we have counseling service to empower victims to become survivors. If you or someone you know is struggling in an abusive relationship, please call our hotline, or you can even text our hotline to talk to someone and get the help that you need. There is no shame when it comes to domestic violence, and remember, it's not your fault. Please call our hotline at 866-685-1122 and ask a few questions and determine how we can help you. We're here 24/7, and we've been doing this for 39 years. We can certainly help you.
Welcome back to Politics Unleashed. Kip, this is a special time for us. Couple things. One, I had the pleasure of, it was in 2008, I was employed by the Somerset County Sheriff's Office as a canine handler. And I had a drug dealer come to my house, threatened to kill my canine partner, Dano, and he kept threatening me. As I went to our local prosecutor, Wayne Forrest at the time, and he had advised us there was no laws on the books to protect a canine handler from being threatened by he was a local drug dealer for the dog.
Right.
And so I didn't know really what to do. This guy kept making threats, and wife, kids, and dogs, and I didn't want this guy coming to my house, and that led me to your office. And I before that day, I knew your name. I didn't know you at all, and that was in, like I said, 2008. Our lives intertwined at that moment, and over the next 5 years, with your help, we actively lobbied the New Jersey legislature to change police canine laws to protect these animals and the special families that they live with. And
So we got Dano's Law.
Dano's Law. And if I'm correct, is it still the only law in New Jersey ever named after an animal?
Pretty much. There may be one or two, but this is the most important one. And you know, you'd be surprised. That's how a lot of legislation is crafted and passed. People that had personal experiences, and that was a scary experience for you and your family. You came to me, and there was nothing on the books to prosecute them for threatening your animal. But your animal is part of your family.
Right.
And, you know, if you threaten Dano, you're threatening you. And
sure.
So you know what? We were fortunate enough to get it through the Assembly and the Senate, and the governor signed it. And now, if that happens again, we have laws in effect that we could really prosecute the individual to the fullest extent of the law. So that was a good law.
Wow.
And a lot of times we get it right. Not always, but on that one we got it right.
Well, I know on behalf of all the canine handlers statewide, we appreciate you going to bat for us. And like you were saying earlier, it became a bipartisan bill, and it shows that politics do work when you have the right people trying to help you out and make a difference in the community.
And it really is. It was important because you know better than anybody. I mean, especially this day and age, the canines are so important with the terrorism that's going on around the world. I mean, the dogs, as you know, are trained to pick up on so many things. So
right.
We have to protect them and their handlers.
Well, one of the reasons we always do our show usually from my den, my Arizona Cardinals den, but that's a whole nother story.
Well,
you love our Cardinals. I know you're like Eli Manning, But anyway, that we're outside today. Our backdrop is Canine Dano's kennel, and we're going to be showing our viewers during the show, and we'll be popping in here and there with pictures of when you actually, Senator Bateman was nice enough to visit my house. I believe it was about 3 years ago when my police canine started to get sick, and he was starting to you know, get a little older. So he ended up passing away at 13 years old. But Senator Bateman took the time out of your busy schedule to come here and meet with me, my family, and with the dog.
Jumped up on the sofa. It was great.
Jumped up on the sofa. He was wrestling around with you, probably a little too much. But he was a character.
I'm a dog lover, so you know, it doesn't bother me. I think it's great.
Well, so are we. And honestly, a lot of people, now that I'm even retired, when I do run into people, they relate me to Dano's Law. And I think I might not even be where I'm sitting now or even have a platform to speak as an animal advocate if it wasn't for you. So I wanted to personally take this opportunity to thank you in this downpour and coming out today.
You're a real advocate for that. And it's very important.
I have something small for you that I'm going to give you. We'll show our viewers at home up close, but you can wear this proudly. It's Canine Dano with the GOP, and I have more for your friends down the road.
Great.
So this is great. Wear that proudly up, because you are a champion to the animal community.
It was my pleasure to
appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Tim, and keep up the good work.
Most definitely. And I think it's important to also note, too, myself and Senator Bateman's careers entangled a little bit, too, with, as you know, right now going on down in Texas, we have Hurricane Harvey, a very unfortunate tragedy.
Devastating.
I know when we had Hurricane Katrina, I got deployed by the sheriff's office down to New Orleans. You were down there as well.
With the Red Cross for 2 weeks. I'm surprised we didn't cross paths.
I know. And we were talking about.
But that was devastating too. Right? A lot
what those people are going through
in the shelters. They fed a lot of people. It's just.
And I'm sure you can donate to your local Red Cross, which is they're all collecting right now for the people in Texas. So our hearts and thoughts go out with them.
Matter of fact, I put it on my Facebook this week. You know, please donate to Red Cross or other organizations because it's devastating and. It's unprecedented. The amount of rain that we're getting is just unprecedented.
And even from Katrina, there was lessons learned that we brought back up here, and we had obviously Hurricane Sandy and Irene. From a political standpoint, what were some of the things that that took place up here that you were able to help out with when that happened?
Well, you know, it was difficult because it took a long time for people to get help from the federal government. And many had lost everything. It's one thing a vacation home, but a lot of people's only home, and cutting through the bureaucracy was the most difficult, and we passed some legislation to help expedite things. But it's when people lose everything. We've had our share of floods here.
Sure.
In Manville, in particular, too many times. I mean, you go there, the Lost Valley in particular, and everything they owned is on the curb. It looks like World War II, and it's just it's so sad. So wherever as elected officials, wherever we can help in times of disasters, we need to step up.
Right. Well, you've been stepping up your entire career, and
continue to do it. That's why I'm so great. We're getting there.
I'm getting great by the day, but we do appreciate that, and I appreciate the long-time friendship, and also everything that you're doing down in Trenton that benefits my family, our friends, our community, and for you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us in the rain today to honor Canine Dano. We got his kennel behind us, and we hope to have you over again in the future. But thank you so much for all that you do. Genuinely, we have a lot of different politicians on this show, but. Not too many that way I can turn and look and say you're a genuine friend. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And thank you for having me, and I enjoyed it very much.
All right. Thank you.
We're here at the Bridgewater Veterinarian Hospital with Dr. Levinston. And Dr. Levinston, tell us a little bit about your place and where we could find you and your Facebook and your website.
We are right on 202-206, just north of the mall, the Bridgewater Commons Mall. We are on the corner of Foothill Road and 202-206. We're a full-service veterinary hospital. We have a boarding, grooming. We have a chiropractor. We do advanced surgery, dentistry. Full service. We've been coming to the JCC events for years and love doing this and being part of the community.
Great. And do you have a website that they can find you on? Is it your name or does it go under something else?
Yep. You can find us at bridgewatervet.com. We'd love to see you, give you a tour, introduce you around to the other staff. We have all kinds of client education seminars, and we're very involved in the community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Mary from On the Loose, and we're here at the Doggy Day at the J. And we're here today with
Ketna.
Ketna, tell us a little bit about your table here and where we could find you and what you have.
Yeah, definitely. This is Wolfgang Bakery and Grooming in Bridgewater. We have all types of fun stuff for your dog to basically, treat them. We do grooming. We do bakery items, birthday cakes, treats, all types of natural treats. We have all types of natural food. We have collars, leashes, clothes. You name it, we have it. Just to basically, you know, spoil your pet.
Great. I do have a doggy at home, and I'm going to definitely bring some of these home from him. Yeah. But this is actually good enough for a human to eat.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so these are pumpkin softies, and basically they're human-grade ingredients and treats, and they're actually pretty yummy. So if you wanted to try one.
I'm going to try one. I'm going to try one right now. Pumpkin.
What do you think?
I think I'm going to have to fight my dog for that one.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And do you go to other events as well?
We do. We support a lot of local rescues. We have on-site adoptions. We, you know, basically try to go out and support the community as much as possible in terms of rescues and things like that. And we're in the shopping mall. It's Wegmans and Home Depot shopping mall, so you could find us easily. We have a nice facility there, so come check us out and bring your dog.
Thank you. Okay, we're at the Rutgers Seeing Eye Dog group, right? You have a group?
Yeah, we're the Rutgers University Seeing Eye Puppy Raising Club.
Puppy Raising Club. Okay, so we have a lot of people here today. Is this your whole club, or do you have more people here?
We actually have about 80 active members at any given time. Because it was like a Sunday, we didn't get too many out to this event just because everyone's sleeping and stuff. But we actually have about 14 dogs and about 80 members.
80 members, that's awesome. Anybody want to share anything from your club? Anybody want to share anything else from the club?
They're all good dogs.
They're all good dogs. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Hello and welcome to the Cupcake Round Series sponsored by Safe and Sound Somerset. My name is Veronica Finlay and I'm the Development Director here at Safe and Sound. We'd like to speak to you today and provide you with information about domestic abuse. What is it, who it happens to, and what we do here at Safe and Sound to address it. To start with, domestic abuse is a behavior where one person controls another person. And this can happen in a variety of ways. It can be intimidation, it could be financial control, it could be isolation, and then there could be the physical violence. There are many ways that one person tries to exert their control over another person. And who does it happen to? It can happen to anyone. And there should be absolutely no shame if you are the victim of abuse.